Hello, folks. Welcome back to Old Wolf Adventures. Today, I am going to make me some fire starters, and I'm going to make two different kinds. One I'm going to make with cotton balls and petroleum jelly. Another I'm going to melt some wax and soak some cotton rounds. And all are very inexpensive and easy to do. So, sit back, relax, enjoy the video. First step is to melt a little bit of wax. Need a heat source, a container of some sort, and of course with the wax. Now we sit there and let this melt a bit. And as the wax melts, which seems to take quite a while, saving you the boredom of watching wax melt, you can always prep a piece of tin foil. Have your swab or your rounds that you want to use ready to go. When the wax gets melted, we can begin this process. And we are getting there slowly but surely, but this is part of it. You can go out and you can buy this stuff on the internet. I find it a little bit more enjoyable and fun to make these items and kind of things myself. I'm one that likes to, if I can make it or do it, I'm going to do it. I only go outsource things that obviously you can't do yourself, or you don't have the ability to do it yourself. Now that the wax is melted, here's where the fun part begins. I would, you could or could not, but add maybe a little bit of lighter fluid. Here you got to be careful. Well, you get that stuff on the burner, it can flare up, which it has done that to me once before. Now, these things will work perfectly fine just the way they are, but if you want to add a little color to it, you could use a little wax dye, or like here I'm going to use the ends off some cheese that has dye in it already. We can add that to it and try to give this a little color. Trust me, food coloring does not work. It'll dye the pad by itself, but it will not mix with the wax. So we'll let that melt into our wax. Here I'm going to do probably about a half a dozen of these. Just let them in there. And just let them soak up the wax. Let them sit for a moment, and then we're going to take them out and put them on this piece of tin foil to let them cool. Obviously, the more dye you put in there, the darker they'll be. Now we'll just let those set and cool, and we'll give one a test here in just a little bit. Now we have the finished results. They can still cool just for a little bit longer. They're still pretty soft, but voila, homemade fire starters using paraffin wax, cotton rounds, a little lighter fluid, and a little wax color. Just a little added safety note as far as these things goes. If for some reason you spill a little bit onto your fire or your burner and it flares up, don't attempt to don't panic. Try to snuff it out with something else, a lid, a cover. See, I'm doing it on my grill here. I can easily close this down and contain any flare up. So use up the utmost caution when you use the lighter fluid or the wax itself gets on a burner. Could be a bad thing. I had it flare up on me one time, and hey, it was right here on the grill. Let it go. Enjoy the little fireworks show. This next one here is very simple. Probably the easiest one of all, and probably the most least expensive one to make. A little petroleum jelly with cotton balls. This is just as simple as taking a little bit of petroleum jelly, a cotton ball, and then fusing the cotton ball with the petroleum jelly. What we'll do here is we'll make about a half a dozen of them. And it don't take a lot, and you get a pretty good little burn time out of these. When you get done, you can get you a small little Ziploc bag. You can store these things and they'll last, I wouldn't say a lifetime, but they'll last quite a while. So we get these little dudes infused with a little bit of this petroleum jelly. And it is about as simple as that. And here we're going to test what we've just created. So we're going to take one of our little rounds that we made and we're going to break it up to expose some of those fibers. And then we're going to take a ferro rod. You can use a lighter, a big lighter, or matches, whatever you choose. I want to show you that this will work with a ferro rod. Went a little bit longer than what I was expecting, but it started up. We got it to work. just as simple as that. And these will burn long enough for you to get enough kindling put on top of it and burn long enough to actually get that going. The next one is one of them little petroleum jelly infused cotton balls. You gotta just break it up to expose some of the fibers of the cotton balls. And you just take your ferro rod. And that one was ignited super easy. Tell me what you think. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and comment. I am always curious to input from other folks, probably maybe even more experienced folks. So thank you for coming by. I hope y'all have a great week, and until the next time, y'all take care.